kind of badness. All right, welcome to the Real Family Therapy Podcast, episode 17. We got DJ Double OG. We got Are You Serious? We got Dad in the building. How you guys doing today?
Doing good, sir. Doing good.
That's good. Now, as we can see, Dad is in the car on his way to the DMV. And so he might have to skirt out a little early in this episode. So we're just going to jump right into it. Now, what he did tell me that was nice is that the DMV got the digital wait in line, so you don't have to stand outside the DMV for hours like you got to do now. You can actually just wait in line on your phone and then come back when your number's called. So I think that's kind of dope. Because right now in St. Paul, I had to stand outside for 2 hours. Almost. Well, it wasn't 2 hours. It was like an hour and a half just to get some tabs not tabs, just to get title transfer and all that stuff. So yeah, you got to take forever. You been to the DMV?
I got AAA, so you can do it all through there.
Hold on, I got AAA too. What you mean?
You can do most of that stuff through AAA.
For real?
So you don't have to go to the DMV. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to check out my gold member rewards.
I mean, I'm premium, but it's okay.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm just messing with you. I don't know.
I got a gold card. I don't know.
Whatever one is, whatever one. I don't know. All I know
got
is
100 miles. That's all I was asking for.
That's what I got. Yeah, if I get towed
miles.
literally 100 miles, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, you could literally take 4 of them. You can go out of
200 miles.
I think somebody's at
my yours is 200?
Yep. So I can get towed from here to amusement park somewhere and get towed back.
Hey, that's what I was thinking. Like 100 miles, you might make it home if you go out of town and get stuck. 200 miles, you might literally make it. Yeah, I got to get my AAA membership.
Wisconsin Dells is about 200 miles.
So
we can pile in and get towed to Wisconsin Dells. Won't even have to use no gas.
Right, nothing. Get towed to Wisconsin Dells. Get towed back to the crib when you done.
I should be ashamed of you.
Hey, the bad part is it takes AAA so long to come. You might be waiting 5-6 hours.
But you at Wisconsin Dells, so you don't care.
Yeah, AAA take too long to come, man. One time they told me they was coming, they ain't even come. They called me back like we was gonna come, but we couldn't find nobody. Why would y'all tell me I'm stuck?
You gotta use the app. You can't use no phone and all that.
The app?
If you don't use the app, they'll just ignore you.
Yeah, and you gotta tell them you on the side of the highway or in an unsafe situation or something.
Talking about for AAA?
Yeah, because if you tell them you safe, in a safe situation, AAA take 30, 45 minutes just to answer your call. They'd be like, okay, hold on 1 second. Are you safe? Yes. All right, 1 second. Let me put you on hold. You sitting on hold for 45 minutes.
Use the app, then you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to download the app.
Give me a whole lot of stuff.
Because I just had to use AAA like 2 months ago to jump my green truck. All right, but it's Real Family Therapy Podcast. This episode 17, we want to talk not just about AAA.
I hope.
But after last week, I was on vacation. So we didn't get no episodes for the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to drop 16 and 17 back to back. 16, I want to talk about birthdays. My son's birthday was just yesterday. Our father, Dad's birthday was May 8th.
How old did Prince? How old is he now?
Prince Patrick is 8 years old.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's a big 8-year-old. We went to Sky Zone yesterday. It was kind of crazy because you're jumping with mask on. But the whole time, yeah. So everybody had their mask on, jumping on the trampolines and Sky Zone. Prince ain't gonna keep no mask on, so he was cool. But he got tired because he woke up at like 5:30 in the morning. So he been up since 5:30. Then he go to school, get out of school, go straight from school to Sky Zone, jump on the trampoline for an hour or two, fell asleep on the trampoline.
How you fall asleep on the trampoline?
In Sky Zone.
Did you go get him?
Tired. Yeah, he just laid down on his stomach. I thought he was just, resting, right? I thought he was just bouncing and laying down. He laid down and went to sleep. You had to wake him up like, Prince, come on, let's go. I know you wore out, baby.
Oh man.
But you know, Prince's favorite thing in the world is trampolines. That's his go-to. So if he can get on a trampoline, because we had one at the old house, that's his favorite thing in the world, man. But Dad, your birthday just passed May 8th, and we want to talk about birthdays and some memories that we had. So before
you said your present was delivered, by the way. So did you get it? Get one of them?
Yep, I got it.
Cool. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, so I just wanted to real quick ask you one of your favorite memories from one of your birthdays, like one of your favorite birthdays that you remember out of all 65 of them birthdays.
Well, let's see. I only had 2 birthday parties in my life. One was when I was 8. The other one was when I was 50. Spam call. But yeah, when I was 8, that was probably one of my favorites because I got it was one of my favorites birthdays and one of my worst birthdays because I got a favorite toy. I got a tank. It was an electric tank, motor tank, and it could actually climb up the side of the wall and turn around and go the other way. And so I was really proud of that until the birthday party was over and the tank was broke. So that didn't last long. Because me and Junie has his birthday is on the 8th too. So he was at the party and he just destroyed my tank.
That sounds like 8-year-olds.
That was at 8. My next one wasn't until I was 50. So that one was pretty good. We just had the party out in our complex. But my favorite birthday present, I think, was I got Charlotte bought me a iMac, a purple iMac.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was my favorite. So, because I always wanted the iMac, and she got it in purple because I was a Vikings fan.
And that wasn't cheap though, especially back then.
Nope.
Yeah, that ain't cheap. iMac right now ain't cheap.
Nope. So it was the all-in-one iMac. The thing about the iMac though is that you can't do nothing. You know, you can't add anything. You can't plug nothing in. Or just what it is what it is. So
and you gotta use it, yeah.
But check on my status here.
Okay. That's crazy. Are you serious? Do you got any favorite birthday memories from any of your birthdays?
Let me think. There was one time where say that it might have been when they got me the monster truck limo for my birthday one year. That was pretty cool. So we went out and they got me the monster truck limo.
You got a monster truck limo for your birthday?
I got it. It's literally like one of the first pictures I even have on this phone. It is the first picture that I have on this phone. 2009 is when they did that. So yeah, I just sent you the picture of it. But yeah, so that was the first time I've ever seen anything like that before. But it was a stretch limo, but it was a pickup monster truck. So that was pretty dope.
Yeah, that's crazy. What y'all do with it? Y'all just went out?
Yeah, we went to, I think it was Karma, you know, how we used to do. But yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah, man, I'm like more low key with the birthday type of things, you know. So just a nice little dinner. Like the last couple of years, little lady took me out. We just had some nice times, took me out, got me some cool gifts and stuff. So yeah, I mean it's
Yeah, see, it's a big deal for my kids to have a birthday party every year.
Yeah.
Like even if we broke, no matter what we do, Dad just hung up. He's like, "Oh, y'all gonna mute me up and hang up there?" Yeah, it's a big deal. Me personally, I don't remember having a birthday party.
Right. Yeah, like this year we went to Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, for your birthday, that's right. Yeah, I think yeah, I don't remember ever having a birthday party. I'm pretty sure I've had one as a kid, but I don't remember. And a lot of times my birthday's in June. So growing up as a kid, you know, before social media, school was where you seen your friends and when school was over with, it wasn't a common thing to just get somebody your house phone number and tell them to call you. During the summer for me, growing up in like the early 90s.
But we never lived by where we went to school anyways.
Yeah.
Especially for you, you literally never lived near where you went to school. Your school was always like far away.
Yeah, so I don't remember actually ever going
outside of high school.
Party.
Yeah.
Even in high school, I don't remember having a birthday party as an
Not
adult.
a party. Not really a party, but more or less just getting with your friends and hanging out and doing something like that, but not like an actual party
like
with the punch bowl.
Party.
No.
No, I never had that. Not even too much. I don't know. Maybe when I was a kid, I hung out with my homies. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really remember birthdays at all. But my kids, it's a big thing for them to have a birthday party. So I think maybe when I get older, I think I might have a birthday party when I turn 50, maybe like that. Because I never really cared about no birthday party. Like that never meant anything to me. But it's a lot to a lot of people. Like they make their birthdays like a week-long events, and I'm going to the club and I got the VIP, and
that's what we used to do. But like, so for example, like back in the day, I would always get Dez the big liter Hennessy. Like that was his, like, listen, man. And you would like literally get emotional, like, yo, man, I want to thank you for this Hennessy. But I mean, other than that, I mean, that was about it. I mean, like, we would still go out, but like for like my crew, for example, it's like whatever that person likes, that's what we gonna do. There's no questions about it. They're not paying for nothing. It's all about them that day, and we just, it's cool. Even with my girl, like her friends, they did some crazy stuff. Like they went to Tahoe, but like all of her friends from around the world came, so it was like 30 of them, and they just all had a great like celebration weekend. Like
for her birthday.
Years ago, I bought out like the whole back 3 rows of this them diner movie theaters where you can sit in and they have the tables and stuff like that. So I just bought the last 2 rows for her friends. So everybody came. You had to worry about it. Just come and just enjoy the party. So like they all, surprised her with that, and everybody just came, and we just enjoyed and had a good time there. So I mean, it's just different things that you can do for the birthday or stuff like that. It doesn't got to be too crazy, but I know like some people really like to celebrate it or whatever the case may be. And I'm organized, so.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't even remember doing. Have you ever done anything crazy on your birthday? Not necessarily a party, but you ever woke up and be like,
one day.
You said what?
I was in Vegas one year.
Oh, we ain't gonna talk about what happens in Vegas. You don't talk about that.
Nah, but it wasn't bad, and I ain't doing nothing stupid. But yeah, I was in Vegas one year, and that was weird. It was a crazy little party. But I mean, like they had like the streamers, and my name was in the lights, and it was pretty cool. Cause like the dude,
and your name was in the club and the whole nine. I remember that.
They had an actual sign for me and stuff, because he worked there. So he worked at the casinos in Vegas, so he hooked me up. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember that because your name was like all over, like everywhere. That was dope.
I thought it was dope. Dwight was there, so that was real cool. Dwight hooked me up. He set me up straight. So shout out to Dwight. So he did that.
Yeah, my best birthday present I ever got, I believe, was it sounds corny, but maybe my son. Because I thought he was gonna be born on my birthday. We had to go to the hospital on my birthday. The day before my birthday, we went to the hospital. Aaron was born June 25th. So for 10 days, Trisha was in the hospital with Aaron before he was born. But the day before, I thought he was gonna be coming on my birthday. So we spent the night in the hospital, and it's crazy because I remember that birthday, and I don't remember any other birthday, and I didn't do anything. But we was at the hospital, and Trish was like, "It's your birthday. You only got to sit up in here with me. Why don't you go home and smoke or something and chill?" So she lived right across the street from the hospital. That's what she stayed in the apartments.
Yeah, I
remember. She literally lived across the street. So I just walked across the street to the crib.
Just get my hair done over there. Huh? Used to do my hair over there.
Yeah. and rolled up and smoked and played the video game. And I just remember that being like the most peaceful birthday I ever had. It was like super just.
Or that one I came and visited you on.
It was super dope. Oh, in jail? That was probably one of my worst birthdays ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because.
But I made sure I came to visit you though, for sure.
Yeah, you were the only one that came and saw me on my birthday. That's probably why I was the worst one. Because I wanted my son to come see me on my birthday in jail. And he ain't come. So I was mad about that.
You was mad about a lot of things on that one.
Yeah, my wife didn't come. Nobody came see me. My mom was tripping. Like it was a bad birthday. Everybody was like, I'm like, hold on, I'm in jail. Can I get some love? And then unexpectedly, like Superman in a cape.
You should have known.
I'm sitting in the cell. Yo, this make me emotional because I remember it now. But yeah, I'm sitting in the cell like, you know what I'm saying? Like, F everybody, the whole world. I'm tired of this. I'm sitting in this jail cell, laying on this hard concrete, arms stretched out this, I can touch both walls. Like, I'm just going through it. Like, this is not how I'm supposed to be spending my birthday. It's the last birthday I'm ever going to spend in jail. Ain't nobody come see me. Ain't nobody write me. Ain't nobody send me no letters. Shaw, you got to visit. What? All right. Well, I don't want to go to rec no more then. You know what I'm saying? So I stopped because I was on my way to rec. Yeah, they had a jail.
Oh, they did? They hooked you up?
They had me a jail birthday cake, which is like,
that's dope.
And I don't, it was Doritos, because I don't like no other, like, Funyuns and all that stuff. I like the Cheetos. You need Cheetos for the cheese. But yeah, they made me a jail birthday cake pizza. But yeah, my brother came through and, you know, the visit was everything, man. It was everything. And yeah, that was probably one of my worst birthdays. And then at the same time, my best one, because you came through when I didn't think nobody was going to come.
Son, I was coming every week, basically.
Yeah,
like, why
wouldn't
you
came a lot. So that was dope.
I gotta come see my boy.
But what else? Like, other than that, you know, I think the only crazy thing I ever did, which was probably one of the another worstest things before I did my birthday, which probably led to us getting kicked out of our condo or our lease not being renewed.
For what
at
place?
Our condo, at the condo that me and you had.
That had nothing to do with that.
No, on my birthday though.
You do know what happened though, right?
No. I thought it was because I was smoking.
It was a foreclosure.
Oh.
They wasn't paying on the rent the whole time you was there, and I'm giving them money. Then they sent me a letter talking about, yeah, we're kicked out in a month. So that's why we had to leave then, because the bank was literally going to take the condo. Oh. And there was a whole bunch of units in there that was under foreclosure under this company that went belly up, because that was when the market went belly up.
I had no idea.
I thought you knew. We didn't get kicked out. The people that owned the building had a foreclosure. That was it. It had nothing to do with us.
I thought the whole time I've been feeling bad.
Son, I swore I told you this before.
No, I thought, okay, so on my birthday, we was living
I showed you the letter.
We had a condo, right?
Yes.
So we had a condo, really the dopest crib I ever had in my life.
Yes.
It was really nice, 2-bedroom condo, the bathroom, laundry room, kitchen, all that. So once again, I'm by myself on my birthday. I had like an ounce of weed. I rolled up an ounce of weed. And this is when like they used to smoke purple blunts. And it used to be like flavored blunts, right? So this when you had like chocolate Phillies and purple. You don't know nothing about that because you ain't smoking. But yeah, so I had some like flavored blunts and I was smoking. And I remember you came home like, bro, nigga, this man, they talking about the weed smell in the hallway. I'm like, damn. I felt bad, like, I'm sorry. After that, I didn't smoke.
No, like I was just saying what it was. Like I was like, I don't care
if
you smoke in the balcony.
It was a lot of smoke in the crib, and I was
I was like, just go to the balcony. Only because of the different people. I didn't care personally, but only because there was an old lady that lived across from me.
When you're young, you do dumb stuff. I didn't think. Now I would know better. Like, you know, when you're young, I'm like, it's my birthday. I'm finna sit here like Scarface on a big this, 50, 60-inch TV back then was big. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't like
that was that big back body.
Yeah, it was like when you had a 50-inch TV, that joint wasn't flat screen. It had a whole apartment at the back attached to it.
Yeah, it did.
So I'm sitting there on a big screen TV playing the game in a $1,800 a month condo, smoking, feeling like Scarface. Like, yeah, it's my birthday. I'm coming up. I'm living with my brother. I'm living out my dreams. I'm smoking high. And then you came in the door like, nigga. Like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, I wasn't tripping. I was only talking about the neighbors and stuff because they might have tripped, but that was about it. But nah, like no, we did not get kicked out because of you. A lot of different people were smoking weed in that apartment building. We got kicked out because they couldn't afford their rent because they probably got one of them balloon payments. So yeah, they just literally went into foreclosure.
That is so funny. The whole time I thought,
oh man,
the reason I got kicked out of the condo,
it had nothing to do. I don't have any evictions on my record. You think I'd be?
Well, it wasn't an eviction. I thought they just didn't. You know how sometimes people act funny.
No, that wasn't even the end of the lease. We had technically another couple months, but because they didn't own that place anymore, the lease was null and void. So I didn't. Yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy. All right,
I was mad that I was paying rent. That's the only thing I was upset about.
Yeah,
I was struggling at that time.
I
was struggling at that time too, and that's when I finally got my job back. So I started to get the money back up. So that's when I was getting the money back up because I was working at what was it, Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that, right?
Oh man, the best wings.
No, it was Foot Locker.
No, Buffalo Wild Wings.
It was Buffalo Wild Wings. Okay.
Yep, it was Buffalo Wild Wings because I was eating them.
Okay, yeah, it was Buffalo Wild Wings or something. But yeah, like that's the only reason why we were out is because they didn't own the place anymore. So we had to leave because the bank was taking it over. But they've been doing that for a year. So for a year I was paying rent. Now somebody else that I got apartment in that place, they were notified a year ago. So he didn't pay rent. He was notified because it was owned by different people. So some people owned a bunch of them, and then one person owned like 2 or 3. So the one person that owned like 2 or 3 that I hooked my boy with, Candyman, shout out to him. You know Candyman, don't you? He was in the dance crew with Richie Rich.
Okay, I know who you talk about.
Yeah. So I got Candyman. Candyman had a place in there, but they told him about the foreclosure. So he was living there rent free for like a year.
Why he didn't tell you?
We had different management companies.
Okay.
I just hooked him up with the people that were there and told him, yo, go check out. And they own these ones, but these are cheap because it was real cheap at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how he got in there. But he lived there for over a year rent free. So he was stacking money like crazy. But yeah, that's the only reason I was upset. It's like, yo, I could have been living there for free the whole time.
Free the whole time. Are you worried about paying the rent and they ain't just pocketing the money?
So yeah, that was the only thing. But no, we did not get the lease reduced. They didn't even check my credit when we got that place. Do you know that? Because it was originally me and Dez when we got the spot,
you
right?
And Dez, right?
Yeah. So the dude, he was like, "You guys seem cool. He's in the army. You're working. Hey, it's all good, buddy. And actually, if you want, you can paint the place, and we'll just reimburse you." So we painted.
Yeah, because I remember y'all had to paint it.
So I painted a lot of it because Dez had to work a lot. So I did like the kitchen mainly myself, and then but it was tedious. And then Dez came in and made sure we did the walkway and then the living room, and that accent wall was annoying. But yeah, that place was just weird.
Green, mint green color. The accent wall.
The accent wall was the green, and then the living room was like the peanut butter brown, and then the hallway was a light gray shell or gray Asian. I don't know, some weird stuff. We painted.
You put your work in. It's wow. That's I don't even know what to say, bro. I didn't know that the whole time.
So no, you did not.
I feel a little better now.
Yes, there's no way. I would have said something by now, don't you think?
All right, I don't know. I thought you did.
And I showed you. I was like, "Yo, these fools is kicking this out because they ain't paid the rent, man. The rent. It's the lease was the lease wasn't even over. We still had like 5 months on the lease.
I don't even remember that.
We still had like 5 months on that lease, and because you came in, because Des didn't even finish the year, and
yeah,
then
he had to
you
go
came
somewhere,
in and
didn't he?
moved. Yeah,
Yeah, he had to
so
go
he
somewhere.
moved in with his girl, and then so he didn't finish. So I was there by myself for like 2 months, and then you moved in. But by the time you moved in, I had already just renewed the lease. So you weren't there, but nothing but for a couple. You was there for like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, it wasn't that
That's why
long.
I said I had another 5, 6 months on the lease still. So
It wasn't that long
it
at
wasn't
all.
about not renewing the lease. Them fools just foreclosed, and we got
So
hit with it. That was the only reason why, Rose.
at that time, I was staying with Brian, and you was living with Dev,
Yeah.
right? And I'm starving. I ain't ate 2 days, damn man. I ain't eat yesterday at all at the birthday party. So I was living with Brian, you was living with Dez. And me and Brian had a year lease. But Brian didn't want to pay his rent. So like the rent was due on the 1st. The last day you could get it is the 5th, right? So the rent due on the 1st, you could send it in the 5th without being late. But like we started moving in the first 3 months was cool. Then after 3 months, he started paying his rent late every month. So I would have to pay the rent and then just wait for him to give me the money back on the rent. So this is like the 5th month. So this is 2 times he done did this. And I'm like, bro, you smoking up. Like, you got a problem with money, fam. And this is where I live. And I always have my own crib. And I don't play about rent. Like, that's one thing. That's one bill I will pay. If I don't pay no other bills, is rent. It's the only bill you pay. And you pay that on time. So I was upset with him. I was upset with him because he was late. So then you had an opportunity the Dez had to go move with his girl. So I had to go to the leasing agency at my apartment, argue with this lady. Like, no, when I signed up, it was supposed to be a 6-month lease. She's like, we don't do 6 months leases. It's only a year lease.
So you just made it up.
Yeah. No, it was a 6-month lease. That lady told me 6 months. Okay, we'll let you out your lease. So I had to argue with these people for like 2 days. They let me out my lease. And I broke the lease with Brian and moved in with you. And I just kind of left him because I didn't like the fact that he wasn't paying his rent.
So that's how the beef started. Doom, doom, doom.
That's probably how it did start.
Doom, doom, doom.
And
y'all need to love each other and stop playing. But anyways.
We had the studio, and he didn't pay the rent at the studio either. Stuck me on that.
Love each other. It's a different age. You all are old now. You're all different now. Things ain't the same back then when y'all was hanging out. So the whole thing's on as if he's the same person. And if you are the same person, it just doesn't make any sense because you don't even think in any way, shape, or form like you did back then. And I'm pretty sure neither does he.
Probably, but I'll never talk to him though.
Yeah,
and if I see him, I might smack him just one time. No. I'm ignorant like that. You know I'm ignorant like that. I might just smack him. I might just. You know what's crazy? I was in jail, sending him letters, emailing him, calling him like, man, what's going on? Why are you not talking to me? Why are we beefing? What's going on? So I reached out to him multiple times. Like I reached out to him all the time. Like I would call him, send him voicemail, send him an email. So one time I sent him an email and he emailed me back. But in the email, I'm like, you know, when I get out of jail, I'm gonna make sure I get your music to you from the computer, because all your music is on the computer. So when I said that, he responded. I'm like, okay, so you respond when it's talking about that. All right, but anyway, dude. So yeah, long story short, me and him, it just ain't work out, man. And I kept trying to reach out to him, and I'm trying to, you know, make it better, and it just didn't happen. So now I'm to the point where, you know what I'm saying, if I reach out to you, I didn't ever do nothing wrong to you, as far as I know. And then, you know, a lot of friendships like that happen. Like with me, I just lose friends because I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why I lose friends. See, and you the opposite, right? You'll hold on to these relationships y'all will go through your ups and downs and hold on to them
Yeah,
forever.
but I don't have many though. So that's the difference with me though. Like I never really wanted to be that person to have like 30 or 40 friends. Like that, like you
And that
always
was
had a
that
big
person.
crew.
Right.
You always had a
That was me.
huge crew. And I was envious of it to a degree, but also it's like that's too many mixing. Like it's just so many. How do you really keep a genuine connection with all of them? Right. So like my crew at the max was at like 15 at any point in time, but it wasn't something where it was like a whole bunch of people just always like that just seemed too much for me. Like yeah, I've seen it in high school especially. Like I was just thinking this year be I'm old 20-year high school reunion or whatever, right?
Okay.
I don't know nothing about it. I couldn't even name you 10 people in my high school right now. 10
From your graduating
that I
class.
graduated with. I couldn't
Yeah.
name you 10. The
Yeah.
only one I know about is Tony, rest in peace. Or Tanai, as we used to call her. I used to make fun of her because she was like, "Just call me Tony, be quiet." But
She
yeah,
passed away?
okay. So,
Yes. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
okay, yeah.
All right, hold
Rest
on.
in
I had to
peace.
think for 1 second. 1 second. Okay. Anyway, let's
Yes,
keep going. Let's keep going.
yeah. So, but nah, it's like, so with that situation, like, yeah, for me, it's just it's hard for me to connect with people, like really connect on that level because of it's just a lot of different factors into it, and it's more or less of do we actually get along, or am I getting along just to hang out, or am I getting along just to do something with, or am I like when I feel like I'm being used or something like that, then I'll drift away. So there are some people that I have drifted away from, some that just naturally drifted away because we just started doing natural things. I don't have anything against anybody. I'm too, once again, I'm 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 old now. Older. I'm not old, but I'm
You ain't
older.
old yet. We feel like we
Yeah.
old, but
I'm
we ain't
not
old yet.
old, but I'm older. And with my age, I just a lot of stuff I don't care about anymore, man. Like stuff that happened 6 years ago, 10 years ago. I don't you can do what you want. I'm not holding on to nothing. I don't care. I'm not processing anything. Like Godspeed to everybody. I hope everybody's success, love, and happiness. But other than that, I mean, it's cool. Like for me, so even for example, if somebody did something nefarious to me, I wouldn't. If I seen them today, I wouldn't be like, "Yo, son, what happened back in '98?" I don't care. I don't. I just think that's.
I'm the
I don't
total
care.
opposite. I
Yeah, I
care.
don't care. I don't like what
Care.
I'm doing. I got a lot of stuff going on. I got stuff I'm doing. I got stuff I'm completing. I got goals. I got Bitcoins. I got, like I'm I'm trying to get me some Bitcoins. Now I don't got it, but I'm trying to get me some. I got some crypto, but I'm trying to get me some other, like I got other things on my mind opposed to trying to worry about something that happened in the past. I just think it's silly. Like, I mean, I'm doing different stuff. I just went to San Francisco this weekend to get a global entry pass. Do you know what that is? A global entry? That's for like when you travel and have to go through customs. When you have a global entry pass, you don't have to go through the strenuous customs like everybody else does.
What you so
So
you
like
ain't gotta like
every
take your shoes off and nothing like that?
so that's TSA pre-check. But I'm talking about if you're leaving a country and you do global entry, that's something different. That's in another level. So there's TSA pre-check is where you don't have to take off your shoes, which I have. You don't have to take out your laptop. You don't have to even take off your hat. You just literally put your whatever's in your pocket in the little conveyor belt. You put whatever's in your backpack through the conveyor belt, and you just walk through. And then they'd be like, all right, cool. So for me, it takes me 2 seconds. Everybody else, they be taking off your shoes, take this off, put your hands up. I ain't gotta do none of that. And then with the global entry, when you go through customs, when you enter in back into the country, they usually ask you a series of questions. Sometimes they check your stuff. They go through a whole bunch of stuff, and it can take a long time because you have to go through that tedious line. With me, I go to a kiosk, put my fingerprints on there, scan my passport, and then I keep it moving with my receipt.
Okay.
So it'll take me a minute, and it'll take everybody else an hour after they get off a trip. So when I'm going to these different places in the next 12 months or whatever the case may be, when I'm going through customs, I ain't got to worry about it.
So what kind of process is it though? Like
So
is it just
literally
like an
what I do is
interview?
an online application. Mine wasn't an interview. So, and people like to exaggerate to, I don't know why people love to have sad, long stories. like as if it makes them validated in their life. Like the more trauma and the more tragedy they had, it makes them a
better
better
your life
person.
is. Yeah.
Especially for black folks. Man, I ain't never have nothing. Well, that's terrible.
Right.
Somebody messed up if you ain't never have nothing. Something didn't go the way it should have if you never had.
I ain't never told nobody that. I
That's
had
a whole
mom and
nother.
dad.
That's a whole nother situation.
I
I
got
tell
an
people
allowance every week. What you talking about?
I'm from the suburbs. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
I ain't never been to the ghetto ever. Ew. I'll lie. I don't care. You can have them sob stories. I'm not gonna sit there and glorify not having. Like that doesn't make any sense. But the global entry the process is you literally go online, you fill out an application, takes maybe 4 to 5 minutes. You know, your where you was born, your all your information. Have you had this? Have you had this criminal record? Have you done this? What's going on with that? Whatever a case may be, right? Then they do a background check, and then they come back and say if you're pre-approved or not, right? So if I'm pre-approved, which I am, then I had to go to you have to go to a designated global entry site, and which are usually at international airports, but it's not at every international airport. So the closest one to me was San Francisco. So I had to drive that 2.5 hours to San Francisco for the in-person interview, because you have to do an in-person interview if you're going to get this, because they're literally exonerating you from a lot of the different processes that you have to go through to make sure that you're clear and you're clean. So I literally went into there, and once again, I YouTubed it. The girl YouTubed the videos of people sitting here like, yeah, make sure you answer this question, and if you ask it this, and be cool, and don't give them too much information, and da 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 da. I'm sitting here like, I promise you, it's gonna be nothing like this. And lo and behold, I get in there. He's like, all right, Reginald, yep. So I go sit down. They have a bunch of different kiosks, obviously, cubicles or whatever, just kind of like a prison visit without the phone.
Right.
So, so you sit down, and then he was like, so can you confirm your birthday? I said my birthday. All right, cool. He said, and where do you work? I said, I'm a consultant at blah, blah, blah. He said, all right. Yeah, so you should be able to get this. You're actually gonna hold on, let me take a picture of you. So he took a little picture through the glass, might I add. So it wasn't quality. He didn't get it's literally he pulled up a little webcam, said, Bop, I got you. I said, you ain't even hold it steady. But anyways, he didn't even hold it steady.
He got a
He
video.
literally took the picture and it was like, yeah, all right. So you should get the card within like 2 weeks. Just waiting for this background check to go. We'll just scan your fingerprints to make sure that you can scan your fingerprints when you go to the different kiosks so they know it's you. All right, put your right hand on, left hand on. All right, we're cool. All right, I'm just waiting for this thing to finish the process. We got slow internet today. Okay, that's it. So you're approved. There you go. You have a good day. That was it. They didn't ask me my mother's maiden name and where she got her first snack. They didn't do none of that weird interrogation stuff that people will try to tell you. It didn't take me 3 or 4. They didn't say 3 or 4 months until you get your approval. It was right there. The only thing is going to take process is for them to send the actual card itself. But you don't even need the card unless you're driving. So, for example, if I'm going to Mexico and I want to drive across to Mexico and I have my global entry pass, yeah, I just go through basically. It's just way simpler and easier.
Hey, so let me ask you this then. Is it like the real ID? So
it's considered a
like
real ID. It is considered a real ID as well. The global entry pass is considered a real ID. Yes. Son, why does it look like you got fake eyebrows? What filter you got on? Or your eyebrows?
I got fake eyebrows?
Son, you'll see in the video, but when you move, your eyebrows
oh,
son. What you got? Glamour shots on? What's going on, man?
No, man.
Somebody want to be a bad chick. Somebody want a hot girl summer. What's going on?
Wait, no, you can't be disrespectful on video.
You trying to have a hot girl summer. What's going on with the eyebrows and the facial hair? You trying to get accents?
No, it's something in
all right, Pops, your son out here getting filters.
It's something in Zoom, man. Hold on, wait. Let me try to get this.
Yes. You're on mute, Pops. You gotta unmute him.
Oh, hold on. Wait.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah,
all right, there you go.
Too. I went in and I touched it, and then I forgot to get rid of it.
Oh, the mute thing.
I had a fake fake mustache for a while. Y'all didn't even notice it though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got it on right now. I don't have the fake eyebrows. I'm changing them right now. Okay. You see how they get thicker? That's crazy.
I'm telling you, y'all out here looking pretty. Who you flirting with? What's his name?
Hey.
Hey, as long as he treats you good, that's all that matters.
It's called Studio Effects. It's in the Zoom app. It's called Studio Effects. I didn't realize it was on before y'all jumped on. Like I was on for a while. Before y'all jumped on, I was playing with AJ.
This dude out here crazy. But nah, but
I forgot it was even on there.
Back to the conversation. The global entry is considered a real ID because you have to have a passport and then you have to have a ID or something with your
I think that's the enhanced ID. I just got a real ID, and that don't get you across the border.
No. It just is also considered.
Yeah. Oh, so instead of getting the real ID, yeah, he could just get that joint, and it's the same thing.
So you can have your old license, and then you can have that global entry just in case they needed it for any type of reasons for travel.
Yeah, because I just got my real ID.
What did you need for your real ID? Because I want to get mine. Don't you need a birth certificate?
Birth certificate, social security number, social security card.
So the same thing you would need for a passport.
2 documents has your address on it.
I don't have no social security card, so what can you use other than that?
You better go get one.
Get a social security card.
You don't
have no social security card.
Well, in order to get a social security card,
get a job without a social security card.
I'll just give my number. That's how I got all.
So that I-9, they're supposed to have a copy of your Never mind.
I haven't had a social security card in 3 years. I had 3 different jobs, and they still hired me without the social security card.
They're supposed to have a copy of your I-9. Yeah, but that's a whole other HR crap. But yeah.
So that tells you something about the jobs you didn't have in the last 3 years.
Hey, hold on. I was driving
all going down.
I was driving city buses. Okay, they let me go. Yeah, and the other one too, right? I was driving for first student. They ain't even asked me for no social security card. But yeah, in order to get one though, because of the COVID process, you had to like send your actual copy of your birth certificate in the mail and all kind of junk just to get a social security card. I don't know, it was maybe lightened up, but back when I did it, you couldn't go to the office.
Get your birth certificate in order to get the ID. So get the birth certificate first.
Yeah, I got my birth certificate.
Then get your social security card.
Yeah.
Then you need 2 forms of ID with the address that matches your ID. So yeah, so after that, that's all you need.
Did they push the real ID back to like August or October or something?
It's October, I think.
Huh? No,
did they push it back?
You don't have to have it until May of 23.
But I thought the real ID is only if you're trying to travel, right?
Like on an airplane. But yeah, I just got off a plane and they ain't asked me for one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you don't have to have it until May of 2023. Then you can't get on the airplane without it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's why I said like, it's like if you can get a passport, whatever, like you're fine. And that's what I got, a passport. So that's why, because the passport is the same thing as it's considered real ID, so you don't have to worry about it. But
yeah, if you got a passport, you don't need a real ID.
Passport will take you across the waters.
Yeah.
Real IDs, you can't get out of the country yet.
Yeah. But I can use it, so like if I just had my old license and my passport, then I could still fly around domestically as well too. So yeah, but yeah, it's more of an outside thing. But most people don't even travel anyway, so it's just something that they just trying to get. But I mean, if I can get a license, I don't see why the difference is of getting I just work here. I don't know. But yeah, so I mean, I just do different things, and like for me, mine was free as well. So the global entry cost $100 and it lasts for 5 years, but mine was free because I have a traveler's credit card, and a lot of traveler's credit cards, they usually reimburse you because they want to encourage you to travel. So
it's literally traveler's credit card, or it's just a credit card that's used by travelers?
It's the venture card. So literally it has like on the picture of it,
you got like the umbrella and stuff.
Nah, it doesn't have the numbers on the outside, so I can show you, but it has a the venture card, and it looks like, you see how it has a passport
Oh, the
stamp on it and
passport stamp.
stuff. Like, yeah, it's actually a travel card. The numbers are like they put all the numbers and stuff on the back, so
Yeah.
it really don't matter. But yeah.
Okay. We were just talking about you was talking about you invested in Bitcoin and Dogecoin. And I was reading a story, and I got a question for both of y'all, because y'all smart and rich. So what do you think about cryptocurrency? So Elon Musk bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. That he's going to start soon accepting Bitcoin as payment for his Teslas.
Mm-hmm.
But he also just said that Dogecoin, Dogecoin is going to pay for his SpaceX launch to the moon.
Okay, so I'm gonna drop a little something for you on that. So, little lady, she's been on the Dogecoin heavy. So, for example, I'll give you an example of two different situations. So, there's one person that I saw online. They invested $500 last year in July in Dogecoin, right? And just let it sit. It was only worth like 0.004 cents for $500 worth. Today, that little $500 is worth over $100,000. Right? Because of the influx. So now, like right now, it's at 50 cents, which is down comparatively to where it was a couple days ago. But that's still crazy, because it was up to 72 cents at one point. But like, for example, I told her, I was like, yo, I'll just give you $2,000. And this was back when it was only like 5 cents. I was like, I'll just give you the $2,000 and invest that for me instead of it just sitting in the bank, because that's all it was doing anyways. Because that's my like emergency, whatever happens, I still got 2,000. Because whatever, most people don't even have enough to make. If something happened that cost $500, most of the country couldn't do it. So that's the crazy part, right? So I was like, well, let me take my reserve of this 2,000 and I'll just give it to you. But she was like, nah, I'll just do the 200. So she just did her 200. If I would have did $2,000
like you said
back then, I would have had over $150,000 or 120. No, 100. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong number. 121,000 off of that 2,000. 121 at the peak.
So I never understood it. So when it came out, and I bought some.
You bought some what? Doge?
Like
Bitcoin?
Yeah, but I don't remember what happened to it. Let me tell you why. Domino's. Let me tell you what happened. This is how old Bitcoin is. Domino's had a special. Where they were going to accept Bitcoin, and you could do something at Domino's. It was like maybe 9 years ago. Yeah, it's got to be like 8 years ago, because I lived in 1556 Ames. So this is at least 8 years ago. So I bought one of the Bitcoins in order to get some pizza from Domino. And I don't remember what happened to the Bitcoin, because I didn't think it was real money. I thought it was some, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody really back in the day, like, how can you make money up on the internet? Like, how could you make money? I didn't understand the concept of Bitcoin, but I knew that with the Bitcoin, you could get the Domino's pizza. So I was just thinking about this 3 days ago when I ran across this other story about Dogecoin. And I'm like, I wonder what happened to that Bitcoin. And I wonder if I can still access it today. Like, I wonder how much it'd even be worth. Because that was like 8
you
years
have
ago.
one. Just
one. It was just one.
Right now, it's $56,448.
What?
Right now. I'm looking at the live feed. $56,400. It keeps going up and down between the dollars. But yeah. $56,000 right now for one.
Cash in.
For just one. Just one. Now that's my issue. So when I first moved out here, right, I was on Truxell. There's this gas station off of Truxell across the street from like this movie theater and Staples and stuff like that. And I was at the gas station and they had a Bitcoin ATM. So I was like, a Bitcoin ATM? What in the world is going on? Like, I thought it was for like the black. I was like, oh, this is that dark web currency stuff that they was talking about, where people just be buying body parts and drugs and prostitutes. So that's what that. So when I seen a whole bunch of girls in front of that Bitcoin thing, I was like, oh, that's that back page. That's the back page money. So I didn't think about it like that. And then I was like, maybe I should just buy a few of them, because it was like,
I like Backpage.
nah, it was like $200 at the time or something like that.
Okay.
Or $400 a coin or $200 a coin or something like that. So let me just buy. I should just buy like 3 or 4 or 5 coins just to make sure. Like, just spend $1,000 and get like 5 coins and then just sit just to see what'll happen.
Right.
And never did it.
You'll be balling out of control right now.
Or even back then when I first heard about it in 2010 is when I first heard about it, and that was when it was pennies. It wasn't worth anything. It was only worth pennies. So that's what that's why a lot of people got rich, is off of Bitcoin themselves. And there's this one article that kind of is like you. So Bitcoin is a thing that you can physically have, right? On like a zip drive or something. So there's one dude, he had bought I think it was like 2,000 Bitcoins or something like that. And he just had it on his laptop. So it wasn't connected to anything. It was just strictly on his laptop. He had his certificate or whatever, certified Bitcoin. So he had like 1,000 or something like that, right? 2,000, 1,000, some crazy number of Bitcoins. So he had the Bitcoins just sitting there, but the computer crashed. And he couldn't recover anything off of that computer. So he had millions and millions and millions of dollars in Bitcoin, but couldn't get it out.
Yeah, that's.
Or people lost it, just like you said.
I just read an article. Somebody
said they forgot about it. They didn't think about it.
They forgot their password and got $300 million in Bitcoin, and he can't access it because he forgot his password.
I don't know about that one, because you can always just do the forgot my password thing, and they'll reset it for you or something like that. You can call the company and be like, "Hey, player." You can get a hacker and pay him some money up front. You got it on mute, Pops.
Oh, let me tell you
this is my feelings about it. It's like, okay, who is paying these millions of dollars for these people to make millions of dollars? Because somebody has to buy those Bitcoins for those exorbitant prices. So who's going to pay $56,000 for one Bitcoin? That's what I would like to know. Because if you got them, that's why I say cash. Let's see how you can cash them in. Because if people, you might be a millionaire in Bitcoins, but until they have established Bitcoins on every market, where you can use Bitcoins when you go to the grocery store, Bitcoins here, Bitcoins there. Otherwise, somebody has to pay for your Bitcoin in order for you to make the profit.
Well,
I want to know who is going to pay for it.
Well, people have to just not pull out their investments. And that's all it is. So when you buy it and I buy it and everybody else buys it and things like that, that's how it goes. That's how the stock market goes. So that's how these billionaires stay rich. So what they'll do is they'll all get together in these hedge funds and they'll be like, what we're going to do tomorrow at 6 o'clock is we're going to buy $500 million worth of this stock, right? So they buy it. And then as soon as they buy it at one price, their money that they invested automatically raises the value of that stock now. So now it was at 1, now it's at 4. So now they've literally just quadrupled their money. And then what they do is they take out that money right out. They take that money right out, and then they just keep doing it again and again. And that's how rich people stay rich. What's happened?
Right, but it's only as good as how much you can take out.
Right.
So no matter how much it says on paper, if you can't cash it in, then you
can cash it in.
I'd like to know who's paying $56,000 for a Bitcoin.
It's not like an individual is paying for it. Everybody that invested their money is paying for that. So when they pull out, then your value goes down. So for example, that's why it depends on who pulls out when. And that's the gamble of the stock market. So when a stock crashes, all that means is that everybody sold their stocks. So now it's a Ponzi scheme. I get if we all put in $300, I gave you $100. We all get that's $300. Everybody put in $100. So now that stock is worth $300, right? So if I pull out 200, then now your amount that you had was 100, and now was only worth 50 each. And I pulled out 200, and I got out ahead. That's all it is.
That's what I'm saying. So it's you're betting on other people's integrity to stay in.
Yes.
As long as people stay in.
Yes.
So really what people are doing in actuality is taking that value of the bit stock, going to a bank, and then cashing it in on loans or buildings or something to buy something else based on the value of that Bitcoin. But now they got something in real value in return. So they don't necessarily have to cash out the Bitcoin. As long as the value of it that can be verified, then they can go to a bank.
That's how people are getting out around taxes.
Yeah. So you can go to a bank, get a loan.
Yeah.
$50 million.
Yeah. And that's how people are getting around taxes.
Into real, real assets that have a real value.
But that's how it's always been done, though. We're just now catching up. So the rich people have never got. So, for example, I'll give you a prime example, right? So these CEOs and all these people that get paid, they get paid off of stock when they have these private companies these public companies on the stock market, whatever, right? So if you look at a lot of their paychecks, the majority of it, their actual pay is small, it's minuscule, but they get paid mostly in stock, right? That's how most of these stock options, right? So what they do is then they take, like Pops just said, they take those stock options and then they go to the bank and they loan the money based off of the stock. So I give you my stock, you give me my money. I don't have to pay on a loan.
Yep. Taxes. So then what they do is they take that money on the loan, buy an apartment building. People rent the apartment building. The money they get off the apartment building pays the loan back.
Or that stock will pay the loan is how they do it. So that's what I'm trying to say. Even if they don't even do that, a lot of them just literally pay the loan back with the stock. So they said, hey, I have this amount of money. Give me a loan. Then they give them the loan. Then they said, okay, well, can I pay you back in these stocks? So then they give them the stock back. And then that's how they pay the loan off completely. So some people literally live off of loan money from stocks because I don't have to pay taxes on a loan from the bank. And that's what I saw. I actually seen it actually happen. So they don't even have to go buy a business or get a business. They will literally say, hey, I got this amount of money in stock. Just give me the loan. And the bank will be like, all right, I'll take this. Okay, we're going to give you this loan. And then you literally just wait a couple of days and be like, all right, let me pay you this. I'm going to pay the loan back fully. So some people literally pay the loan back fully, but strictly in stock only. So they will sell that stock. They will move that stock over to the banks. The bank has a stock, and then the bank can cash out, or the bank can just hold the stock and then keep their money up and do stuff like that, or move it around to something else, or they'll sell that stock and move that stock into them, and then which builds the bank up, and then it keeps going like that.
Not too many banks are going to take stock as payments.
For rich people, they do.
They're not.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like for rich people, they literally do that. So you can't do it.
So
I can't do it.
They're not really taking. They're just moving stuff back and forth.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like
they'll get that stock, they're getting rid of it. They're not going to hold on to no stock.
No.
They won't even take the stock unless they know in advance they're going to be able to get so much out of it right away.
Yeah, and that's why I said they do it with only the rich, wealthy people that are established and they have a lot of money in these stocks. They're just not going to do it for any other person. But that's the game that they've been playing for a long time.
And that's why the rich people get schemed so easily. That's why they get so many scams. There's so many scams are scamming these banks and rich people out of millions of dollars. And they will never tell you because they don't want nobody to know that they got scammed.
Because it's all about avoiding taxes. Literally, that's all it's all about. They do not want to pay taxes because they know that my black butt pays more taxes than they ever will. I pay the most taxes out of anybody.
Yep.
My pay rate, my marital status, I pay the most tax out of anybody. I pay what most people make in taxes.
A single person without kids, dependents. Oh, you're.
Son, I pay, and I don't have like a business I can write stuff off or pay my rent with or whatever the case may be. My pay is ridiculous. I mean, my taxes is ridiculous. Taxes though.
How much?
My last paycheck. Are you ready for this?
Hold on. How much was your taxes? You paid in taxes?
Just the taxes. Just the taxes. I'm not talking about benefits.
That's FICA them, right?
I'm talking about, what is this? Federal, employee Medicare, social, California tax, and California disability employee. I paid over $1,800.
Yep, that's the pressure.
You did what?
I paid over $1,800 in one check.
I don't get $1,800 gross pay on my checks.
Son, over $1,800 in one check.
Man,
because of my marital status and because of my employment.
You know what you need to do? Don't get married, because marital status messes your taxes up. No, you need to be head of household. Have a kid, don't get married. Trust me. They'll thank me later. No.
But I don't have any dependents. I don't got nothing. So it's just me. I can't claim nothing on my taxes. Like I'm doing zeros now.
Because you're a tax expert. What's better? I say head of household is better than being married. Because marriage, you don't get that much money back. I got more money back claiming head of household than I did saying I was married.
That's because you're poor. The broker you are, the more money you get back. When you got money, then you want to be married. You want to have kids. You want to have, because you ain't going to qualify for all those earned income credits.
Yeah.
That's where all that money's coming from. Earned income credits and child credit vouchers. Right. Those don't matter whether you're married or head of household. Head of household is good for earned income credit, but that's if you're only making less than a certain amount of money a year.
Yeah, because if you're married, you don't get that.
You got to be making like $10,000 to $15,000 a year to get a profit off of that. So if you can live off of that, then you're already in trouble. So it's not about that. But if you're making real money, livable wage, something over $50,000 a year, then you're not going to qualify for that big earned income credit check anyway. Nope. So then you want to be married, you want to have kids, because then there's all kind of marriage. There's marriage credits, and there's other credits that you can get. So
I don't even qualify for the student credit.
Yeah. Once you get over $100,000,
I couldn't even get the student credit. I thought, okay, I'm in school now, or I'm finishing up. This is my last year, whatever. I only got a month or two left. Whoop whoop, but only got a month or two left. I can use this next year. Bam, I get a little something up. No, wrong. And actually, you owe some. Right. Because we didn't take enough out and we want more. So they want more than what I'm even paying.
Yeah, that's why all the rich people live in Florida and stuff, in Texas.
Son, the state ain't even the big part. It's the federal one that's knocking me over the head. That's a G alone.
Yeah, that's federal. See, when it comes to taxes, you right there, because when you don't make them, you don't make enough. They don't give you. And last year I made $32,000.
That's the whole tax game. That's how they keep you poor. They want you to stay poor because you're dependent on getting that income tax refund. So stay poor so you can get an income tax refund and a credit, and then you'll be happy.
I'd much rather work a job and not depend on no income tax, right? Like, who would I hit that?
So what you got to do is, get a solid income and learn how to invest it and how to, save some money and invest it at the same time while you're making it. So, nobody, if you're making over $100,000 a year, you should only be living off of half of that. The rest of it, you should be trying to invest in a tax shelter or something, some kind of shelter or you know, giving half of it to the church, giving 10% here, 10% there, and living off of, you know, so much of it. So
Well, that's trash. Because I'm still only getting a 50. So no matter what, I'm still giving it all away. Where my
no,
money at?
you don't have to give it all away. You just have to invest it in some type of shelter. See, you got to learn about what is a shelter? Where can I? So really, you're investing your money in something that'll give you a tangible asset, but yet give you a loss. That's why people invest in real estate, because real estate will give you a tangible asset, a piece of property and a piece of land, but the upkeep of that gives you a loss to deduct on your income taxes. And so all these people do, when you see them buying house after house after house, they'll get a house, they'll fix it up as much as they can, take those deductions as a loss on their income taxes, and then they take that money and buy another house, invest it in another house. So they're steadily moving that money into another investment. So you have to start, you start that's what corporations are for. It's for, moving your losses into your income taxes so that your business losses become credits for your income taxes. So that's why people buy real estate. It ain't about having the value of the property. The value of the property is just there as a book, book value. It's only a book value, but they make their money off of reinvesting in fixing it up, putting a new roof on this one, putting a new something. All of those expenses are counted against your income. So it's a legal way to wash that, but yet
but that's what I'm saying. All you're doing is, instead of paying the taxes, you're just putting it somewhere else.
Right, someplace that'll pay you later. Because that money, as long as you don't sell those houses, it's still value to you. It's still there. So that money is still there until you've accumulated enough where you can sell it, and the profit off of what you made will pay the capital gains tax.
I just want my money. I'm not trying to be no conglomerate. I don't want to be doing no extra crazy stuff. I'm not that type of dude. I'm not trying to become the richest man in the 7 seas. Just let me get my money. That's it. I can't do that.
What's a capital
That's not
gains
possible.
tax? What's capital gains tax?
Let's say you buy a house for $40,000. 10 years later, you sell it for $100,000.
That's 60.
That's $60,000 as capital gains tax.
So you get taxed on that 60,000.
Whether it's long-term capital gain is better than short-term capital gain. Short-term capital gain is a higher tax bracket. So you got to keep it for at least a year or two before you move it in order to get the long-term capital gain off of it. So that's why you see these people on TV talking about flipping houses. Let's flip it. No, they're telling people lies because they ain't telling them about that capital gain tax on the short-term investment.
That's the same with stock.
Yeah,
it's the same with stock. So like if I get paid in stock, I only have to pay taxes on the money that I earned from the stock.
Right.
So if I got paid $1 million in stock, for example, I would only have to pay the money so if the stock went up by 50% or whatever, $50,000, then I only have to pay $50,000 taxes on that.
Yeah, so they call it a base. There's a base value, whatever that base value is at the time you acquired the stock.
Yes, your base.
That's your base value. And then over time, whatever it's worth later.
Right.
Sometimes people sell their stock just to lose money so that they wanted to pay taxes. People would rather pay a lawyer than to pay taxes.
Yeah. And that's what happens. And that's why I keep saying, like, we don't have an issue where we don't have funds. We just have people that are literally doing what Dad's saying so they don't have to pay fact taxes. And that's why Bernie Sanders is so big on what he's saying. He's like, yo, we need to stop giving all these rich people loopholes while I don't have any There's no loophole that I can use. There isn't. I don't have a loophole in what I can do because of how I just have a regular job and I work and that's it. Right. So because I have a regular job and I work and my income comes from that, I don't have any loopholes. I don't have to go to HR Block. I just use TurboTax because it ain't nothing but two numbers and bow. There you go. Like that's it. I can't be like, well, I bought some tissue last year and I can use that for the money of the this and that. Like people be doing all kind of crazy stuff, or I bought this and then it flipped it into, I can't do none of that stuff. So that's why Bernie Sanders is like, yo, we need to tax these people on what they're saying. Because a lot of companies also, they have two different numbers. They have the number that they give the
Investor.
stakeholders, and then they have the number that they give the IRS. So you can show profit to the stakeholders, but then you can show loss to the IRS depending on how you do the numbers.
Yeah, but they can't. Ever since the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, they can't do that as easily as they used to. They used to do that frequently. Now, because the executives of each corporation have to sign off on every financial statement, so they can't just do that anymore. What used to be is that the executives would say, "Well, I don't do the taxes. I don't do that. So and so that works down in Office J, they don't want to fill out all that stuff," and so they would get away with it. But nowadays they can't, because this act that now they have to be accountable for every publicly traded company, not privately traded. Only the publicly traded companies are the ones that are restricted on how they can report their losses and income.
And that's why the
there's
nonprofits are the biggest lick.
But the loopholes, see, Trump put in some loopholes when he took office. This is one loophole. You got a company, you got a corporation, you're paying. So instead of paying 35% tax, now you only have to pay 20%, which is less than what Reggie pays.
Yes.
So now, as a corporation, they only pay 20% flat tax, and on top of that, they can go out and buy $1 million worth of assets and deduct $1 million off of their taxes, instead of it being because usually you would deduct it over a period of time. It's called a depreciation. They would depreciate that asset over 20 years. Now, Trump put in there where you can depreciate it all in 1 year. So depending on how much taxes you think you're going to have to pay, you would go out and buy an asset and then deduct it on those taxes so that your taxes is wiped out. I mean, there's some stuff out there that Trump put in that people, while he was talking about, the Obamacare, that was just what he was putting in the front.
And then
in the
my
back, he
taxes
was
are going
putting in
up.
all these loopholes. He was putting in all these tax loopholes for the rich, for the corporations that he owns.
Yeah.
That's why these white people want him so bad back in office. It ain't because they love Trump. They love that he loves them, rich people.
And then the broke ones is just
poor
idiots.
people are just stupid because they listen to all the propaganda that's what's up.
Idiots.
So they're just following the stupidity. Oh,
They're voting against
they
themselves.
the election. They did this. They did. So the poor people are just listening to that propaganda, while the rich people are saying, "Yeah, get out there, protest. Well, we can keep collecting this money because Trump stuff's gonna run out after this year. They're gonna have to go see. That's why Biden is trying to put it back in. Say, hey, you guys need to. And then what Biden is doing, he's not even putting it back to where it was. It was 35% corporate taxes before Trump took office. Biden just wants to get it back up to 30%.
So then how are these companies, like these big companies where they say they haven't paid taxes in years? How do they do that then?
Just like that.
Losses, deductions, loopholes.
Yeah, so it's not 35% though, because I mean it says 35%, but when it comes down to after all those deductions and all the other stuff, then no one pays any.
Flat tax. That's just like when we pay tax. We pay, I think the average is 27%.
Yeah.
So then after that, now you got your deductions, you got your credits, and you got all that stuff. So by the time you get down to the bottom, the tax bill is actually zero.
And that's what I'm saying. Like we can put, it doesn't matter what number you put there if you got all those abilities to do all the deductions. None of that stuff matters if you're able to do all that other stuff after it. So I can make it 50%. I can make it 70%. It doesn't matter what number we put if they can do all these random deductions and these loopholes around not paying.
And that's what Biden wants to do. He wants to cut them loopholes. He wants to get rid of all them loopholes that Trump put in there.
I should be able to write off stuff as well. Like I don't understand. Like there's no reason why all these other people should be able to write off stuff. They had a dinner with somebody and talked about work so they can write it off. But I'm sitting in a cubicle for 8 hours and I can't write off nothing. That's stupid.
All right, you can't write your lunch off.
Get you a little corporation. Reggie's, I'm mad at the tax system corporation. I went out and talked to somebody about that today, and I get to deduct that off my tax. Loopholes.
Well, I got one you can have. Hey, you know what though? I really think the real problem, and I said this on another episode, and the lobbyists is probably the system of lobbying is, I think, the biggest problem with laws being passed. If you have the ability to pay somebody as a corporation to go sit at a senator's office, like, for example, if I wanted to go see my state senator today, I can almost guarantee you I wouldn't be allowed to see her. But I guarantee you she already has appointments with lobbyists for the rest of this month. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that a corporation can pay somebody to sit and tell a senator what to do, and all of America knows that the corporation Johnson & Johnson has lobbyists. So everybody knows Johnson & Johnson is paying a lobbyist to pay the senator to write laws and loopholes for them. Like the same ones we're talking about right now. And everybody's okay with it.
When I was talking about I literally was just talking about this last night, and I had a discussion at my for school, and it was about ethics and law and the difference between the two. So this one lady had put a, bless her heart, this one lady had put a note in my discussion, because I was talking about ethics and about a situation at work where somebody was getting paid for an entire 2 years after they stopped working there because the manager put in the wrong end date. So he changed, so he must have been 10 coding, instead of putting 2011, he put 2014. So the person was continuously being paid regular because they were salary. And then what they did, so they called in eventually and then gave all the money back, literally, right? So that was an ethical thing that they had, because it was about ethical dilemma. And then this one lady put in the post, well, what do you think about people that steal to feed their families? Do you think it's ever okay? Do you think it's ever okay to be unethical? Which basically is saying that stealing, no matter what, is unethical, right? And I was like, well, stealing, and I think unethical is not based off of law, and it's not based off of what's right or what's wrong. It's just based off of who's saying what, right? So, for example, the lobbyists, it's not about ethically, it's tremendously wrong, but it's legal. So ethically, slavery is wrong, but it was illegal for me to learn how to read, right? So then ethically, and then we talk about what's unethical and what we would deem as unethical, right? So we're talking about, so I was like, imagine if Barack Obama's father was a crack dealer, right? How many issues would he have had running for president and not being president, obviously, for those reasons alone, if that your father was a crack dealer. But then we go over to John Kennedy, who was a known bootlegger, which was the crack of their time, because liquor at that point in time was illegal and they were pushing it literally like crack cocaine. So he was no different than a crack dealer at that time. He was selling illegal drugs. Alcohol is a drug. So we don't sit there and say the Kennedys are a terrible family. We don't sit there. We say they're a great family. They're an American family. They da-da-da-da-da, and that case may be. So that's why, to go to your thing, for me personally, we can't, like, law and ethics don't go together, man. It just doesn't. It never has. Like, to me, legal to me doesn't mean anything, right? Because legal is only about the timing. It has nothing to do with what's right or what's wrong. So if I'm selling weed right now at a dispensary, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a great businessman. If I was selling weed 20 years ago, you're going to jail, you're a crook. Or even depending on what state you're in, you're either a crook or you're an entrepreneur and a great businessman. Selling the same exact product, doing the same exact thing, right? So that's why these lobbyists, of course it's unethical. Of course it's wrong, because they're pushing the narrative to make a profit on your dollar. But it's legal, and to them it's an honorable job. If I'm a lobbyist, people look, oh man, he's prestigious, He's a lobbyist. That's a great possession. That's a great profession.
Like, well, all I'm doing is finessing everybody.
I'm finessing.
Yeah.
I'm a scammer. I'm a city girl.
Right,
What are we doing here?
Right. That's what a lobbyist is. Right.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, to me, that's why I said there's so many gray areas, and everything to me, everything has to do with context. So let's say somebody ran into your house right now, stole everything in the house, and then killed everybody in there, right? Right now. And then I go find out who does it, hunt them down, kill them, and then take everything back. What would I be? A murderer, a criminal? I'd be in jail, or I'd be sent to death sentence, right? Then we got my best friend Des. He's in the army. 9/11 happens. They come, they bomb us, they kill a lot of people that we love, or they come and try to take some of what we want in oil or whatever in those different countries, right? So they rob and they kill us. We go over there and kill them and then try to take back what they took. They're heroes. We applaud them. We love them. They're not criminals. So to me, there's no difference. The only difference is who is doing it and who says it's okay to do it, but it has nothing to do with what's ethical and what's unethical or what's right or what's wrong. It's either wrong or it's right, right? So make up your mind. So that's why for me, a lot of that whole ethical, unethical law, the law is trash. Law is garbage. Because like I said, it was at one point in time, it was illegal for me to read, but it was legal for you to kill me because I didn't bring enough crops in for the day. So I don't have
law is definitely subject.
I don't salute my hat to lawmakers and things like that, because it has nothing to do with right or wrong. It has nothing to do 90% of it has nothing to do with right or wrong. And then even if they create a law, there's also a case study that contradicts that law to make it right or wrong. So
and a lot of the laws that were created, all they doing is going back and changing them later on.
So law has nothing to do with actual law. It's purely based off of judges' decisions and previous case studies you can compare it to. That's why the bar is so difficult to pass, because it's not about just the law book itself. It's easy to remember a law book itself, but what you're doing is you're remembering cases and how to combat that case or that situation with other cases and different similar situations. So it has nothing to do with the law in place. It's about how do I manipulate it. I can shoot you in the face, but depending on, that's completely illegal. But depending on how the lawyer does it and what lawyer I have and how they manipulate the situation, and you can have me on camera, but now I can't use the camera evidence. So now we can't use that in court as my prosecution because of this, this, and this. So that has nothing to do with what's right or wrong. Law means nothing to me. It means absolutely nothing. I have to go by it only because I have to play the game, because that's the system that we literally created in our heads and said this is it. But law means nothing to me. I don't hold any big love with law. I don't honor law, because law has no honor. It just has timing.
No, that's true.
I couldn't vote, now I can vote. We couldn't do this, now we can do this. We couldn't do this, now why? What's changed? What has literally changed but time?
Everything other than your time and your mind, right?
So
laws are just made up in the mind. That's right. DJ Double OG, we got Are You Serious Dad just jumped off. He was riding and cruising. It's been Real Family Therapy Podcast, episode 17.
Yes, sir.
You got any last words before we get up out of here, bro?
Do you? That's what I'm gonna say. Do whatever you feel you need to do. All right, but able to, but understand the consequences that comes with that as well. If it's good or bad, because consequences always has a negative connotation. Consequences can be good, consequences can be bad, but do what you feel is best.
You know, I got something to say, and then we're gonna get up out of here. I just feel like if anybody that's listening at the end of this, which
pray for Palestine,
like 13, 14 people, yeah. I ain't want to get into that, but
I'll get into it. Pray for Palestine. I said
the way they treating them people, man, it's terrible. What they did today, mosque, is horrible.
I don't even want to act like that to put a brush it under the rug. Wrong is wrong. I don't care who does it.
Yeah,
like Palestine. You wrong if
you're
wrong.
Who is you? You don't. They beefing over something. It's so stupid. Anyway, yeah, free Palestine. Straight up support them. We support Israel and Palestine.
I support anybody that's for what's right, and I'm against anybody that does anything wrong. So if Palestine does something wrong, I'm gonna check them too.
Israel, y'all tripping
right now, what y'all just did, no.
Y'all tripping.
Ain't got nothing to do with hate. It's what's wrong and what's right. And if y'all can justify, once again, justify bombing a mosque, then you can justify anything. So
and then they're chanting, erase their names. Like they're chanting that stuff.
Once again, I don't want to hear nothing about no black on black crime. I don't want to hear nothing about no this people are thugs and all this other stuff. If you're okay with people going to other places and bombing and killing people, innocent children and women and men, because y'all act like men ain't innocent. Like all we do is we just got to take it. No, innocent men too. Then y'all just got some problems.
It's funny. I was watching a video, and none of the people in Israel that were Jewish look like the Jews that I see every day in America. We ain't gonna talk about that. I got some, episode 16. Please just listen to it. Are you serious, man? I appreciate you doing this podcast with me.
Yep.
You're so smart, bro. Like the knowledge that you spit in episode 16 is just like, and I play the dumb role sometimes, and I play the opposite. And I like it because it just gives you a lane to shine. Like, you so smart, bro. So
you don't
no homo.
What was your ACT score when you didn't even study and you just woke up one day and was like, let me take it?
It was like 23 or 21.
Nah, it was higher than that.
I don't remember.
It was
higher.
high.
Maybe 27.
You got like
or
a 29 or a 30.
Yeah,
Stop playing with me. Stop playing when you got like a 30, but don't play.
I didn't even finish the whole test. I remember
exactly.
that. I didn't.
Exactly. So don't act like.
The things that you say are so smart. I'm gonna be doing editing like a mug.
Editing.
It's like, but yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for doing the podcast, man, because it's great.